Well, good Thursday morning, Southeast Texas. A beautiful start to your Thursday morning. Lots of clear skies, good visibility. Of course, the latest front has worked offshore now, and that has ushered in some much drier air across Southeast Texas. On our Roofing 911 Skycam network down in Port Arthur, sponsored by Market Basket. Lots of clear skies. Started out this morning in the upper 60s, some mid 60s up in the lakes. It's going to be quite a bit cooler coming up for tonight and tomorrow night, and even again on Saturday night. Next 3 mornings look kind of cool out there early in the morning. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network over in Orange, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. Lots of clear skies and a lot lower humidity. So beautiful weather coming up. Of course, a lot going on outdoors with a weekend coming up. Certainly will be no weather complaints at all. Certainly no rain in the forecast anytime soon, that's for sure. Of course, it remains very dry across the area with that high fire danger, and of course we'll get into that coming up in just a few minutes. But it was a pretty nice night. Front came through, the northeast winds picked up a little bit across the region, and on our Roofing 911 Skycam network here in Beaumont, sponsored by Packard and Apres. Just lots of blue skies out there, lots of sunshine, and temperatures will not be as hot either the next few days. That'll be nice. Upper 80s, close to 90 today, but just mid to upper 80s for highs for tomorrow and on Saturday. Looks very, very nice across the area, that's for sure. And once again, right now we're running around 80 or so. So we're looking at lows tonight, dropping on down into the 50s in the lakes and upper 50s to lower 60s tonight along Interstate 10. Very, very pleasant, but enjoy that because we'll start warming back up, unfortunately, especially as we head toward the middle part of next week. In our Roofing 911 Skycam network, outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. Lots of clear skies as well, much drier air in place, and we have northeasterly winds. It's going to be fairly breezy coming up this afternoon. The winds do stay up a little bit tonight, and temperatures, as we said, will be pretty pleasant when you wake up tomorrow morning, that's for sure. Certainly a touch of fall in the air, that is for sure. No doubt about that. We'll show you all those temperatures coming up and what we're expecting tomorrow morning and the next few mornings coming up in just a minute. But we're expecting very little in the way of any clouds either, because the air mass is pretty much on of any moisture, that's for sure, as much drier air works in. And over in Lake Charles, our Roofing 911 Skycam network, lots of clear skies in southwestern Louisiana as well. And you woke up as well to temperatures around 70 this morning, should get up into the upper 80s coming up this afternoon. So very, very nice. And lows tonight over in southwest Louisiana dropping into the low 60s, upper 50s, and if you go north of Interstate 10, maybe some upper 50s in a few spots across portions of southwestern Louisiana. And as we said, highs over the next few days should be in the 80s instead of the 90s. That'll be good there. All right, let's take a trip to the lakes area on our Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. Temperature 81 degrees, started out in the 60s there this morning. You will be in the mid to upper 50s tonight. Maybe even a light jacket up in the lakes area coming up the next few mornings. Be nice with those mid 50s up there, and temperatures for highs in the lakes only in the 80s. So very, very nice, very fall-like coming up, that is for sure. And of course that allergy report, that's one thing, is not very good, especially in the ragweed and the mold. Still in that moderate to a high category in the allergies. Temperatures right now running in the lower 80s, 82 in Orange, Jasper, 83 in Kirbyville, 82 in Silsbee. We'll warm to the upper 80s with a northeast wind coming up later this afternoon. So it'll be pretty pleasant conditions coming up. Now here's what we're forecasting for tomorrow morning, Friday morning, some mid to upper 50s in the lakes. In around Beaumont, 61, 62. Now you get outside of Beaumont, get away from what we call the heat island effect, where we have all the concrete, the building, the businesses and things like that that retain heat. Get away from that and get out to some of the rural areas. Could be a 59 tomorrow morning. Wouldn't shock me a bit. And of course around 60, 62 in Lake Charles in the morning. And of course Houston with a big heat island there. They'll be in the mid 60s. That's even pretty pleasant for them. But very, very nice coming up, that's for sure, as you see coming up for your Friday morning. Maybe even a degree or two cooler for Saturday morning. Probably some mid 50s lakes, 59, 60 along Interstate 10 for your Saturday morning. Of course, radar is quiet. We're not expecting any rain, and unfortunately, That's going to continue. I know that we have beautiful weather in place, a lot of things going on, but we need the rainfall badly. It's very dry across the area. We'll show you that burn ban, and also humidity now will be dropping throughout the afternoon, even more so. Look at that, into the 30% range coming up later today. All these brown colors you see, that is very dry air across southeast Texas, that's for sure. And that's going to continue all the way through the weekend, probably on into early next week as well. The real brown colors there, even less than that. So bottom line is just some bone dry air in place, and you factor in, which we'll talk about in just a moment, those northeast winds. That makes for a high fire danger. Certainly not a good situation at all, and that's what we're looking at here, the wildfire danger for this afternoon. And this is not going to change much. If anything, it'll get worse. A higher fire danger for much of our viewing area, and a medium to high across the rest of the area. So the bottom line is the entire area, high fire danger, that's for sure. Anytime you factor in, the lower humidity, northeast winds, of course you got the dry air. That's a nice recipe for a fire, that's for sure. Very, very dangerous there. And what makes things worse is the winds. Now here's the wind gusts we're expecting this afternoon across southeast Texas. Could see some gusts, 17, 18 at times. Same thing for tomorrow too. And then the winds will start relaxing late tomorrow on into Saturday as high pressure at the surface builds in, but a bit breezy out of the northeast coming up for the next couple of days anyway. So that's the reason for that high fire danger we have across southeast Texas, that's for sure. And as I've said, that'll continue for another day or so. Current burn bans in our viewing area right now, there's just one. That's for Tyler County. Of course, this is Polk County here, but Jasper, Newton, Jefferson, Orange, Chambers, Liberty, not in that yet. But these will be changing over the course of the next few days, without a doubt. Burn bans will probably be instituted for much of the area, certainly by early next week at the latest. The bottom line is don't burn outdoors. That's just the bottom line, especially with this drier air that we have in place, and also the northeasterly winds. They're fairly breezy at times the next couple of days. Lots of clear skies. Front is worked offshore, very weak boundary. These are just secondary boundaries that'll just continue to reinforce the dry air we have across southeast Texas at the present time. And across the rest of the region in the U.S., oh, it is beautiful. Lots of clear skies. High pressure in control out west. Surface high pressure will begin building down from the plains over the next couple of days. Just a little bit of shower activity off the east coast, and high pressure out over the west. Let's take a look at futurecast. Lots of sun this afternoon, upper 80s for highs. Very, very nice. As we head into the evening hours, temperatures dropping on down into the 70s, and then eventually the 60s, and then eventually a few 50s when you wake up tomorrow morning. That's going to be nice. Some mid upper 50s lakes, low 60s in the triangle. Tomorrow not as warm as even today. Tomorrow looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, with highs in the mid 80s tomorrow instead of the low to mid 90s. That'll be very, very nice. And of course, Tropical Storm Jerry, no worry at all in the Atlantic, staying way out to sea, moving off to the north and northeast pretty rapidly. So that's good news there for the U.S. Small craft advisory offshore, seas 2 to 4 feet due to those northeast winds, up to 20 knots. Water temperature 86, mostly sunny, beautiful this afternoon, upper 80s. Notice the winds, a little bit breezy there, northeast, 5 to 10, some gusts to 20 at times across the area. Tonight, clear skies. No rain certainly expected tonight or the next several days and nights ahead. Mid to upper 50s lakes, lower 60s in a triangle. Could be a degree or two cooler tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Could be. Could be a 58, 59. Get outside of Beaumont. Of course, we'll talk about that in our 4 o'clock show later today. But 7-day forecast, 90, close to 90 today, and then we're in the 80s for a few days after that. That'll be nice. Low humidity. The only danger in the weather really is that fire danger is pretty high. Breezy northeasterly winds the next couple of days. 62 tonight, 61 tomorrow night. Could even be cooler than that in a few spots. And low temperatures still very pleasant, even on Monday morning at 64. And by the middle of next week, we'll start warming up again. We'll start getting a little bit of humidity back as high pressure in the mid and upper atmosphere begins to develop. That'll help us out a little bit on our fire outlook.